Namaskar and good evening, everyone. Welcome to the webinar organized by Elets Technomedia Private Limited. I am Ravi Gupta. I am editor-in-chief of a magazine called Digital Learning. This magazine has been there for around 15 years, and we have been regularly every month covering the various innovations in the field of education, preschool, school to higher education for all these years. And we have been there on online present, we have been around, and also very active on social media. In fact, with us we have Dr. S.S. Mantha. So he was the chairman of AICTE. He was a huge support to our organization and really helped us in organizing a lot of conferences, and he helped us in building up the agenda. So special thanks to you, Dr. Mantha.
Thank you. Thank you.
Whenever I see you, I remember all the old days and all the help you have rendered to us.
My pleasure.
Yes. And in fact, all the people who are in this panel have been a great support for Elets objectives and Elets mission. And Elets primary mission is to spread the ideas of innovation in this field of education. And today, the theme of this session, which we are holding, is on blended learning and digital examinations to boost effectiveness and efficiency in academics. So I have Hemant Sahal, who is the founder and CEO of CollPoll, who will be moderating the session. And I am straight away handing over the session to him. And Hemant, you can start the session. And I welcome all the audience who are who have joined us on Zoom. Already around 250 people have joined here, and also I think at least 500 to 1,000 people will be seeing us online on the digital learning handle and Elets handles of this webinar. So Hemant, over to you, please.
Thanks, Ravi. A big thank you to you, to Elets, for facilitating conversations like this. I think we will move much faster and we'll be able to achieve the larger objectives of an education system, if we continue to collaborate like this. A huge welcome and thank you to all the respected panelists who have taken out time to join us on a Friday evening. And I know a lot of them were busy. They had to cut short their other engagements. So thank you so much for coming. And we hope, this will turn out to be a great discussion, and there will be good takeaways for everybody who's participating. So, this is a very, very loaded, topic, blended learning, digital examinations. Then we're talking about effectiveness and efficiency in academics. So, there are 5 big things that we're talking together. It is also important to talk about it because these are the words that are now being discussed everywhere, right? So last 8 weeks, we have taken a huge, I would say, we've taken a leap in terms of the amount of education technology that is getting adopted. And like I shared in our last discussion as well, I think one of the biggest wins of this in this situation has been the way different stakeholders, whether they are administrators, whether they are faculty members, students, and education technology companies, and even government bodies have sort of come together to help each other and make sure we come out of this challenge with the right outcomes. So with that, quickly setting the context, the idea of today's discussion is to learn from the experience of some of our honorable panelists from implementing blended learning in their institutions, implementing digital examinations, how have they achieved it, some of the larger questions around sustainability and implementation, the regulatory environment around it, and take away something that we can go back and use for our benefits at our own institutions. To introduce myself, I am Hemant Sahal. I am the founder and CEO of a company called CollPoll. We are an 6-year-old education technology company. We provide a comprehensive education solution to education institutions, right from an ERP to a learning management system, workflow automation. and the complete collaboration and engagement. I'm very, very also proud to have, Mahesh ji from MIT Academy of Engineering, Pune, Pankaj ji from IHMR University, and Shekhar ji from Shobhit University, where we have got the opportunity to work with them and provide our technology services to them in the past. So with that, I would straight away jump to the topic that if we all see that until March 2020, right before this whole lockdown happened, most institutions had never thought, even remotely, that they will be conducting classes and examinations digitally. Even if you try to go and talk to them, there wasn't much acceptance on that. But a lot has changed in this last 8 weeks. And what changes, we all have seen is, teachers have started, planning courses in advance. There's far more transparency because online classes are accessible to everybody. So with that, I will open the discussion and request all the panelists to share that what changes have they seen at their esteemed institutions, which they are part of. And also request you to share your initial comments on the topic of blended learning and digital examination for effectiveness and efficiency boost in our academic environments. So I would request Dr. Mantha ji to start the discussion.
Yeah, thank you, and good evening to everybody. Yeah, within in AICTE, about 5 years back, we had actually brought in the blended learning regulations, and this was for a very specific reason. And it was felt that a combination of online material along with hands-on skills within the university precincts would be very, very useful. And with that consideration, we actually brought in a regulation for blended learning way back in 2014-15. Now, having said that, the time that has passed has only spoken about online education, distance learning, and blended learning. People have started talking about only very recently. Now, we all know technology is an applied science, and therefore there is a considerable amount of hands-on skills that are required, which have to be acquired through some actual working and so on. The COVID crisis has actually compressed the development cycle for the online education, and we are directly pushed into the system and adopting the practices of online education. Now, coming back to the example of a university where I am the Chancellor currently, we have implemented it about 6 months back, much before the crisis happened. And what I did was every semester and every student would have to pick up one online course. We had subscribed to Coursera for that matter. And within every discipline, every student, every semester will take on one coursework of his choice. And that he would be doing with the, for that purpose, we had to do a lot of, we used some machine learning algorithms to map the Coursera modules to the actual content of 3 credits, 4 credits, which are typically required in a university system. So, and in addition to that, we also had made every student take one audit course, which is besides his discipline and which talks about any of his interests. Now, that is as far as the implementation goes. Now, there are several online lectures, the hand-holding that happens because of the crisis. The students connect to the teachers and so on. That's the example that has been happening within the university system. Now, the feedback has been very good. The completion rate has been extremely high. Almost 80% of people have completed the coursework. And in terms of numbers, almost 10,000 students have subscribed to one core course and one audit course. Now, having said all that, there are certainly several challenges in educational digital content. The challenges are like the content that you talk about. That's the heart. That's the main point. Rest of the technology can be built in. People can be brought in. Service providers are there to support, and so on. So the content must be interactive. It must be characteristic. It must be global, realistic, and things like that. Now, having said all that, there are several open online courses available on several platforms. For example, there are XMove, there is CMove, there is Book, there is nano-sized content modules, and so the expanse is very large. One will have to make an assessment of what content they require and what is available in the market. As far as exams are concerned, that's the final point that I would like to come in. There is certainly a challenge on conducting examinations, but then that's because of the remote places and not the accessibility of either the internet or the devices, the computers, and things like that. So there is something that has to happen from the university side, something that has to happen from the service provider side, and something the government has to do. Now, in this, very quickly, we will need maybe the BSNL's digital satellite phone terminal kind of things, where the investment could be just about ₹1 lakh rupees, and the remote access can be made. Cable TV can be very effectively utilized if the medium is properly used. Now, subsequent to that, there are again several things that the government will have to do. Like I said, they may have to provide smart tablets, smart or a device which can download the content and play for the student with limited features. Such a device is very easy to provide, and it just costs about 5,000 rupees. So there are a lot of things that have to come in. As far as the conduct of exam itself is concerned, there is a webcam where the pictures are captured, and there are certain technologies which check the authenticity and things like that. So all those things are available from a technology perspective. It's only the mindset that has to change within the universities, and also the stakeholders, the immediate stakeholders, the students, and things like that. Probably one issue finally would really come in, of which I would speak about a little later. That's about how do you create an equivalence between what people learn online and what people learn face to face. Thank you.
Thank you. I think that were very useful insights, and that shows up, how you have the both the regulatory side of experience as well as of running or managing a university at scale. I would request next Shri Kunwar Shekharji to share his views, and I'm also reading the questions and comments from the participants. So. Sir, I would request you to specifically also touch upon, there are a lot of questions about what about students who come from rural backgrounds and are coming from, and are in remote areas who do not have access. And I think at Shobhit University, you do have students like that. So please, if you can touch on that topic as well. Over to you, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Hemant. When we look at this particular question, what you have raised, actually we always had technology, but the mentality was not there. That we can go blended or we can go online completely. This COVID crisis has given us an opportunity to experiment. But this experiment, if we look at, as you mentioned, we have two universities. One is in Meerut, which is a city, and second one is in a small town in Western UP called Gangua. Naturally, in our second university, a lot of students are coming from rural areas. And the question over there is of accessibility, availability, and affordability. All three important questions are there, that if even technology is available, are they able to access it? Are they able to afford it? Or it is available over there or not? When I come to blended learning, like when we started, if I look at what I was talking 6 months back, maybe today what I'm talking is completely opposite to that. Because today technology has become, it's like not a supplement, it is a substitute. We had to go with that. Everybody had to go. The best thing what happened here, that from teaching to learning we shifted. Today we are not talking about blended teaching. We are talking about blended learning. And why we are talking about, because even our teachers, they are learning new things. And this learning is happening throughout the country, throughout the world. When I come to rural areas, definitely a lot of technologies are available. Everybody is talking about all these apps, applications available, including CollPoll, what we are using, and very effectively it is working with us. When rural areas are concerned, still there is a question. Professor Mantha was talking about all the digital things, what may be there, what government can provide. Even government is telling on television, they will provide some course content. But how many televisions you will have at your place? If you have 2 children, if you have 3 kids, they are in different class. So how you will manage that? If they will sit together and so they will read A class, then B, then C. There are so many questions. Actually, infrastructure-wise, we are not very ready for that. Yes, we did firefighting 2 months. We all are privileged universities. We had all the facilities. But we have to see if the students are also privileged or not. And for that, we have still, there are so many questions which need to be answered. Like in our university, when we knew that there may be a challenge, so first 10 days, we had a personal connect program with the students. Every student we reached personally through telephone, whatever way it was, we talked to them. And even we shifted machines from our labs to their places also. We provided them infrastructure. We said, okay, let us provide you infrastructure. If you are in a village, there are 5 students, we will provide you something. We talked to the panchayat over there. We discussed with them. Like on very minute level, we had to go. And this challenge is everywhere. Because when we talk, okay, blended learning is there, online examination, we are also having, all those things are having. But if I look at the positive things over there, one, we found that attendance increased, surprisingly. Involvement of the student was more. The content quality was improved. And everybody was in a learning mode. This blended learning has to remain there. It has to remain there. Like as Professor Mantha was telling, 20% everybody was doing, be it with Swayam or Coursera or whatsoever, edX or whatsoever we were using. Now, recently, we have recommended on behalf of SOCHM, I'm co-chair of SOCHM National Council on Education. So we have recommended that minimum 40% it should be done. Because it is not only that they are going online, it is that they will be learning what they wish to learn. They will have a flair of other universities also. And the second thing which need to be done, I believe, that instead of only SWAYAM, we have to make it open. Maybe one of the university, we all are sitting here, 6, 7 universities are represented here. Somebody is having a good content. Why I cannot use that for my students? That credit transfer should be there. There was a concept of meta universities. So that has to come, that from anywhere, whatever is there, let the university decide what content they have to give to their student, let the student choose. And that flexibility has to be there, and it will come slowly. We did firefighting, everybody did globally. Now we are learning new things, and this learning will definitely shift us towards doing something better, and definitely it will happen very fast. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for the insights. I would request Dr. Navin Shethji to share his thoughts on the topic. Especially, there are a large number of institutions which are looking up to your university in terms of guidance on how to adopt blended learning, how to think about digital examination. So please share your thoughts, please.
Hello, all of you, good afternoon. Yeah, very first I congratulate the Elets for this important discussion. So on 16th March, when we have received the several advisory from the central government, immediately we have started, because our is the largest university, about 500 colleges with the GTU, affiliated with the GTU, means whole Gujarat is the jurisdiction. So we have started that there may be a problem. So we have issued a letter for a different tools of e-learning and different e-learning platforms. We have trained our teachers, faculties, affiliated colleges and our department. There are about 20,000 teachers. They are, and as per one survey by us, only 3% professors or the faculties, they are previously using this online tools and other things. Remaining all are not aware of this online platforms and other things. But so it is just a blessing in a gas. They have now, means throughout these 2 months, all are familiar with these e-learning platforms. They have completed their syllabus, and not only that, we have arranged the mock test, because our government is taking decisions. So for a final examination, we have not declared anything, but we have declared the mock test. And our students from remote places, and surprisingly, it is a voluntary test, not compulsory. There is no weightage for the final examination and other thing. But about 95% students, they registered for that mock test and they appeared for the mock test. So even a remote places, means we have heard that there is a remote place, net is not accessible there and other thing. But even though, as far as the Gujarat is concerned, I say that at all corners of the Gujarat, the students appeared. Not only that, some students, they are there previous, means some northeastern students in Nagaland, Meghalaya, some Bhutan, Sri Lanka, they have taken their students. So even the students appeared from all the places. About 22 states they appeared, and other countries they appeared. So really a very good assessment with us now, and all data we have given to the government is also surprised that there is a possibilities of online examination as far as the Gujarat is concerned. So I think this is just a brief experience with my university. And as far as the blended, I think definitely compared to 100% online or digital mode is not suitable, but blended is the best one, because as far as the communication skill is concerned, or the socially interaction is concerned, the feedback from the student is concerned, the response from the student is concerned, I think blended is the best solution. And I think that the topic is also very good, the blended learning and examination.
Sure, sure.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Sheth, and especially for your proactiveness as a state university in driving the digital examinations and learning for all the constituent colleges. I would request Rajita ji, first of all, all the I would say with this whole cyclone, I think the problem has just increased further for institutions in Rajita. So I hope, the university is as least affected as possible. So request you to share your thoughts of what changes have you seen and what are your thoughts on the blended learning and digital examination topic.
Thanks, Hemant, and I think thank you to Elets for bringing all of us together again and again. It's my second time on this platform, and great topic again, very relevant to us. And Hemant, luckily this time for Odisha we were not so affected. Kind of didn't nudge us also. So luckily we are fine. So this is a topic, and as some of the panelists have already spoken, I think it is clear that Corona has in a way done to us what I think in our normal pace we may not have been able to achieve for the next 5 years. It completely catalyzed. It was like a watershed catharsis for education. We also saw, in fact, Odisha shut down even before the national shutdown. It was not a lockdown, but it was a shutdown. And we realized that within 3-4 days, we were able to completely move to an online mode, because we even sent, ours is a campus university, so we sent our students back home. Barring about 2% of our students, everybody was able to return back to their homes. And we saw that we were able to transition to 100% online teaching mechanism. And as was previously shared, we also found that attendance increased, engagement increased. In fact, turning in assignments was more, there was more, it was happening faster. There was more adherence to that. And also what our faculty members share, and I think this is a great platform to applaud and recognize the entire teaching faculty community of our country, because I think the agility that they showed in embracing this, some of our faculty who are not comfortable or not familiar with technology, which is new technology, some of the younger faculty which had to manage, little children at home themselves. Like I have pictures of some of our young assistant professors who have 6-month-old babies, having babies in their arms and doing, sessions. So I think it has transitioned us as an education community to a completely different level of collaboration and cohesion as a community. Our students were sharing that, for the first time we could see our faculty members' homes, because we are entering each other's homes, right, through Zoom or Google Meet. Our teachers are able to see the living conditions of our students. So I think the whole migration to online for us has been quite seamless. Even our exams happened online, Hemant. And about 98.3% of our students were able to take the online exams, and about 12 to 13,000 exams in total were written. Our results have also been declared, and we have taken a decision that this about 1.7% students, we will receive them back in the next year, and as soon as we start, we will administer the examinations to them. This also, Hemant, we saw was an extremely productive period for us as a team. I think, like some of our panelists were sharing, we can move webinar to webinar, meeting to meeting quite seamlessly without wasting time. We saw a really spike in productivity. The number of research papers that have been published has increased for us. We have in fact now launched a continuous series of online management development programs. The first 20 have been announced by our faculty for the coming week. And for every week now we are doing that. Also 2 to 3 hour programs, and these are being enrolled by national, international participants, because for us in Art of Living, about 150 countries is our reach in terms of network. So people are participating. And we also, our faculty did a very fabulous thing of offering a lot of free webinars. So from dance to data mining, that was kind of the range of subjects that people, we did free Facebook sessions. And I think in these 7-8 weeks, we have easily reached about 500,000 or more people in terms of, them learning from our faculty. So I think all in all, it was a difficult time, but I really salute our teaching community. Apart from srisriu University, our schools also, we have about 100 schools, about 35,000 students we teach. And there also we were, about 4,000-5,000 of our teachers have been teaching online. So transition has happened. I want to raise one or two ongoing things. Dr. Mantha raised it. Dr. Sheth also raised it. I think everybody in some measure raised it. My 2-3 big, things to think about for us as a community. One is how can we make it sustainable? All of us have been there in this age. Our best memories are of our time in school and college. Our best friendships are from there. And I don't think this online world facilitating that. It is like connected to everybody but disconnected from everyone. So this is something we have to think, and therefore how blended learning can fill that gap. Secondly, till the vaccine is found, with the kind of social distancing norms that can be implemented, as a humanity, how much can be regulated? So how are our students going to come back to campus, and how are we going to combine? If some can come, some can't come. If we can accommodate some, if we can't accommodate some. So how are we going to do that? I think that is also still a question up in the air. And thirdly, I feel, it is very, I read an article, Hemant, recently, which says that why is there online fatigue happening? See, all of us are also experiencing that, right? I mean, by the end of the day, we just want to kind of close our eyes and just not see anything. That is also because not just the screen time, but, for example, in a human world, we meet a friend in a coffee shop, or we meet our grandmother maybe in a temple, or we meet a colleague in a restaurant or in an office. There are distinct in spaces meant for interaction. But here we are meeting everybody on one platform. And I read a research which says that is very, very taxing and very, very difficult for the human mind to comprehend. So if that be continuing, I want to raise that challenge of, the mental well-being, the sense of mental happiness, where, people are feeling isolated today, people are feeling lonely today, and especially the younger lot. So these are a few things we have to think about. I think infrastructurally, digital infrastructure is easier to manage, it's easier to upgrade. It may take a little time, but it will happen. But the other thing, the human infrastructure that needs to kind of, go around to make this kind of a learning happen is something for us to think. And for those of us, I was on another webinar where one very reputed institution vice chancellor said that I have such a huge infrastructure today now on my campus. I have 3 million square feet of infrastructure. Now, what do I do with that if everything goes online? So those are also some questions I think we are dealing with as educators. And I think the answers will come. I feel encouraged by, sometimes people tend to say that in India, as a community in education, are we fast enough and are we cutting edge enough like things that happen in the rest of the world? But I think a huge congratulations are due to everybody in India, because I've been in touch with universities in Europe, in the US, other parts of the world. And this kind of agility I have not seen from anywhere else. So I think a huge congratulations are due to our entire community of teachers and faculty members. And these questions will remain, and I would urge Elets and all of you that we should continue to do this kind of multi-stakeholder conversation on a regular basis. I like Dr. Vijendraji's suggestion that we are a flat world indeed today. If we can take vaccine from here and there, food from every part of the world, why can't we share what we have with the best that we have in our institutions? And we have actually, Hemant, last point on that measure, because, being Gurudev's university, tools and techniques for well-being and mental health is something that is core to our existence. We have been sending our teachers and trainers to other institutions to help their faculty members to do this, breathing workshops for their students, meditation workshops. So this, as I also offer as a gesture to my colleagues on the panel today. And I will stop here, and if something more comes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rajita ji. And I think, on that note, I would request Dr. Pankaj Gupta ji to share his thoughts on the topic. And, as soon as he heard mental well-being and meditation, I could see a smile on his face. He's been implementing a lot of these programs at his university. So, request you to share your thoughts on the topic, so that then after Dr. Mahesh ji has shared his thoughts, we can move to the specific questions, and I'm also glancing through the questions asked by the participants. We can specifically answer those questions.
Okay. Hemant ji, thank you so much. And thanks to you and Ravi ji for organizing this wonderful webinar. And I must say it is a great initiative. And at the IHMR University, we have done many such initiatives. As we know that we are a research-based university. So this whole pandemic, we have a lot of meetings through Zoom and team. And so what Rajita ji was sharing, that we have seen that our productivity has actually gone up. And we have been able to, create new books, new, we are running this top journal of health management. We are able to create 2 special issues of Journal of Health Management, where people are contributing great articles from all over the world. And also we have been advising the government of Rajasthan in handling this whole pandemic. And fortunately, our students, their syllabus was already over, so they left in no time. But we also run a program of Master in Public Health in collaboration with the Johns Hopkins University. So that program has been going on, but the entire teaching has now gone online there. Initially, the faculty were finding little difficult, what and how. We have been telling that this is the writing on the wall. But this situation has really created it like a very emergent item. So I believe we have taken it up very well, and I don't see that there are differences in the learning outcome, because one of the questions you wanted to ask was about what is happening on the outcomes and what is the matrices. So I want to share with you, when you talk about the outcome and matrices from a student point of view. One is that people talk about learning outcome, the graduate outcomes, or some people talk about the placement outcome. But we talk about the life outcomes. In our university, again, Gurudev Shishiji has been my guru as well. And I have taken a lot of things from him, very great blessings from him. So he created this model of Gan, Gyan and Dhyan. This has actually, I have implemented in my university. So we have the music as a therapy, then meditation as a therapy. And we are also able to distinguish in Vidya and Avidya. So you see that a lot of things are related with the information based, which, the AI and digital learning will definitely provide us in no time. But when you talk about the Vidya, for that you always need gurus. So we want to focus more on that. Even yesterday, I think day before yesterday, there was a webinar where Vijay Govindarajan was also speaking from Harvard, and Amy was there from Harvard Business Review. They were also discussing that what is that you cannot replace. And that came out to that, real Vidya elements. Where you talk about the empathy, the inner journey, and, making you a whole and complete human being. So we also focus on that. And in addition to that, since we are only a postgraduate research university, our focus is always on the research. You'll be happy to know that our almost 50% of our entire top line comes from research. We do research, Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, WHO, World Bank, and so on. So faculty have got time to reflect and also to see in what direction they were going. So that has given us a very, excellent time to have a relook and create more meaningful outcomes. So what I was sharing, that when you talk about the matrices, for the students, the life goals are very important. Whenever the student join us, we do not say that, okay, you have to go in this company or that company in this kind of salary. We tell them that what is the seed of possibility you carry within you. And then we help them in knowing that full potential and fulfilling that whole potential while they are there. We even go to the extent of creating an IDP for them, like, individual development plan. and which is nurtured over a period of time with the help of faculty, alumni, and our lot of industry mentors. So this is what we have been doing. I believe that the digital and blended learning and online learning, there is writing on the wall. It is an idea whose time has come. We cannot wish away it. That I wish, this walk and chalk professor is great. But now this time has really come and we have to adopt to that. And I also feel that when you talk about the online exams, again, our attachment towards the long answers, that has to go. And also, because you see that whenever you're talking about the online examinations and papers, naturally they will go to a repository where the students will be able to see, oh, what did you ask last time, and so on and so forth. So you have to be innovative in what you are teaching, then why you are teaching, then why you are assessing, and how you are assessing. All these questions, but believe that somebody who is a normal teacher will find it difficult. But somebody who is a guru, who is also willing to reinvent himself or herself, and always there to share that I am there for, so that person will know, even if they may not be great in technology, but something will happen, they will be able to adopt it. I see that I have got professors like the MBBS and MDs who are even 65 plus years of age. They have never used this online thing, but now they have that passion and energy within them. And now they are mentoring students over Zoom, and basic passion of igniting a guru. That is the reason when the last government I was doing some work with Prakash Jakarji, that was a teacher to program. That how to get over with the darkness within us. That how that inner journey is there and how you are able to really become a guru that way. So I can, keep on doing it, but we also do a lot of work on mental health and well-being. We have created converted into videos and like that. We also have a system by which we put it on the server and the faculty will know that a student have actually gone through that, how much of that video they have seen, and accordingly there are questions at every stage, that whether you've seen this 20% video, then how many answers you have given, and so on. Technology, we are enabling all that, but nobody can replace Guru. And the Guru is Guru of Vidya, and also somebody who is really self-aware and having that, passion and zeal to. So, that I can keep talking on this topic. It is so much core to my life.
Yes, yes.
So let me stop here.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Pankaj. So going quickly to Dr. Mahesh ji, sir, specifically, if you could share your thoughts on the topic, especially being an autonomous college, what are your thoughts on the topic of blended learning and digital examinations, so that we can then quickly go to the questions.
So first of all, Alex, for giving me a platform to share my experience and also an opportunity to learn from the resourceful panelists. I am really grateful. And first, MIT Academy of Engineering became academic autonomous in the year 2016-17, and it was a big transformation from both academic contents perspective and also from the perspective. And this last 8 weeks, but because we had gone for that transformation, there is a need for us to look out to bring that change for what we had gone to autonomous. We were very busy. So we had that infrastructure to have a discussion. Into one pack called as the ERP really helped us in coming within a span of 1 week. We went live onto the also. It was a challenge for the student. That as many of the analysts did, that was compatible. So we were able to do that. I'm very happy to say that we to effectively conduct the complete the curriculum, and at an average attendance of 86% was there. And really some interactive tools like the poll, question answer session, the chat box made us the classes very participative and interactive. And I feel the more important thing is to integrate. There are different tools for different purposes. So it is very important that we integrate into one of the ERP so that it will avoid the repetition of the work and we become more efficient. This is what I wanted to share, the experience of my institution. Thank you for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you so much, Dr. Maheshji, for your thoughts on the topic. So a quick now, I think now that we have had a discussion, and I think we have touched upon a lot of important topics like sustainability of blended learning, and also the what kind of metrics to be measured, which is like the outcomes, how do we measure that, to the regulatory environment around it. So quick question to, because not all, we only have, I think, a 900 plus universities in the country, and rest of all of them are affiliated colleges. So one very specific question to Dr. Mantha, that affiliated colleges are worried about the legitimacy of online classes and online examinations, especially the ones who are not independent or autonomous, are not universities. And also, I would direct this question to Dr. Navin Shethji as well after this. So is the regulatory environment like AICTE, UGC, and others affiliated to go ahead with digital? And for the online classes, non 20%, is that an accepted norm now? Can institutions go ahead and start doing that? So Dr. Manthaji, and after that, Dr. answer the question, maybe in short. Dr. Manthaji?
उनका मंथा जी का शायद माइक म्यूट अनम्यूट हाँ
yeah sorry in terms of application, people talk about three elements. They talk about something called as distance education, people talk about online education, and people talk about blended learning. Now the first two, the online education and distance, are actually subset of blended learning. Probably the acceptability will be there because it's a push activity that's happening today, and because of whatever the it's not as if blended learning has come without any. The people have been using it in different forms in the past. So people need to understand that within blended learning, you have a part of the learning happening face to face, and you have a part of the learning happening, outside. Now, therefore, the number of models. In fact, there are several. There are rotation models, there are flex models, a la carte model, there are enriched virtual models, and all these models, they actually describe the interaction between the students and the environment. Now, having said that, the acceptability will certainly happen, but here I would like to also highlight one important part that has happened in recent times.
Thank you, Papa.
The University of Miami, University of Florida, and University of Colorado, the students have actually sued the university, saying that a part of the learning, having promised that there will be a face-to-face education, there is today a certain part of that conducted online, and their contention is that the learning that happens online is not exactly equal to what happens offline. Now, this is extremely important because these kind of questions will come in future, but one should go back to the basic unit, which is fundamentally the credit. Now, how do you arrive at a certain credit for something that you learn, and how do you actually fix a price to that credit? Now, therefore, if the credit is the whole paradigm, then mode of learning really matter. Now, as far as technology things are conducted online, the authenticity can be preserved. The blended learning obviously is the best mode of learning, and so on. So, however, I would just like to flag another concern. There are no accreditation systems for online education today. Much of the content may be of low quality. Quality assurance is something we should move to, guaranteeing teaching learning that is happening online. Since there is very little face-to-face interaction happen, while the engagement must be very, very dynamic, in the sense that even in this webinar, people are asking questions and so on. So therefore, the engagement of the students with the teacher must happen in that form. And so therefore, there are a lot of things that must happen. Training must happen to the faculty. The entire content is, like I said, must be properly chosen in order to fit into a certain curriculum, and so on. So all in all, I believe that there is a huge potential for blended learning and even online learning. And with the advent of, a lot of work is also being done in virtual labs. So for combining all this, just to available from both students as well as faculty perspective.
Thank you, Dr. Mantha ji. Dr. Navin Sheth ji, a lot of doubts are there in the minds of affiliated colleges. That can they go ahead and start doing online classes? Will it be considered towards the the academic delivery, and online examination for their internship, will that be accepted? Can a student go and find that I cannot give online exam? The institution did an online exam for internal assessment. So what are your thoughts, so that our participants can actually understand what are the risks associated with going ahead with online classes and online examination for affiliated colleges?
Yeah, you are correct one, that lot of self-finance colleges are there. Even in my university, about 15% are government colleges or aided colleges, and 80% are the self-finance colleges. But and they are most happy when the students are happy. No doubt, 9% lockdown period. But I have doubt that agents may be or may not be. But the self-finance colleges are all accepted, and they think that this e-learning platforms are the best platform. So many webinars they have arranged, universities arranged, and they see that all experts from national, international, they are. So even the affiliated colleges, they are also happy with this situation, and they have accepted.
Thank you so much. So moving on, Dr. Mahesh, a question, because a lot of institutions, follow OBE or they want to follow OBE. So a question is, how have you seen the model helping institutions in a blended learning way and making sure that they are tracking the outcomes? And what small tips you can share in terms of utility? Because I know we have seen MIT AOE using things like rubrics and online quizzes and several other tools effectively. So what tips you can share on utilization of these different systems like OBE and others? You are on mute, sir. Mahiji, you are on mute.
Yes. I was getting calls, so I had muted myself. Sorry. Basically, to answer this question, I feel we need to understand the basic definition of engineering. I feel engineering is nothing but application of the science to solve the real world problems. Once you understand this, most of the things will become easy for us. So even though we say, as many of the universities and colleges are affiliated to and undergo the NBA, National Board of Accreditation, they know there are about 12 graduate attributes, and only 40% of the graduate attributes are related to engineering, whereas other 60% of the graduate attributes are from professional outcomes. So having understood this, in case you want to really effectively measure these particular tools or this one, we need to understand the Bloom taxonomy levels. So basically, if at all you want to ensure that your students have a higher level of knowledge level, then we need to understand these particular tools and accordingly use appropriate tool to do that particular point. Basically, when you want to have higher level, you need to have more of interaction. You need to have a different type of question paper or the evaluation. So the answer that you get, they're not necessarily from the remembering type or the understanding type. Basically, the answers will come from how do you apply the knowledge you have learned to solve a problem. So, however, the tools like Canvas, Moodle also provide these particular platforms to ensure whether the students are actively involved, whether they are dummy or passive in the classes. So, all these particular technology can be used in the LMS tools, and also the quizzes and the polls we conduct are very important. And some of the tools that we can use for the conduct of the examinations, which may be from proctored or non-proctored classes, for non-proctored examination, they are very important. But in our system, in most of the cases, these are non-proctored quiz type assignments. Even there are open book assignments where the students can refer any resources. So there is no question of copying from one another, because the solution is open-ended and the students need to really apply the knowledge they have learned rather than copying from the textbooks. And this approach of submitting the answers, even the answers of subjective type onto the online, becomes a very important part to actually address that issue of attaining the higher level of education. And especially as far as the end semester exam is concerned, when we really need to have the authenticity and plagiarism check, we can go for the proctored type of conduct of examinations. That also we have adopted, and we have taken the mock trials, and the students are well prepared. You want to give that. Even we did that particular online examination for the proctor type also, but we are just waiting for some of the government guidelines to really conduct for the exams or not. This is how we have adopted. But after all this, I would like to state that ERP is one of the important tools to integrate all these particular tools and put them into one. And if you don't integrate these particular different techniques and tools you are using, then it will be really a burden on the faculty members to finally analyze the data and publish the results. I feel that the combination of all this is a very good thing and need of the hour. And finally, it should be a blended of online learning and the traditional learning that will be effective to make a real effective engineer. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. So now that we are running short of time, I'll have a quick questions what I've scanned through and try to sort of sum them up together. So my next question is, Rajita ji, that people are also asking that learning is far more than just lectures. The kind of questioning, collaboration, activities, sports that happens in a campus forms that larger part of learning journey of a student in a campus. So going the things get back to normal, how sustainable is online learning now that the students will be in campus and they are already have access to classroom, which there's no difficulty? How do you see the sustainability? And institutions are then also thinking that if we invest in so much in adding technology, buying licenses, will it be even of use 2 months later, 3 months later? Should we even invest that much? So would request you to answer the question very, very specifically, so that I think we are already run out of time as also to answer some questions, and then we can have the closing comments. Over.
So Hemant, this is absolutely a question from my heart, and it is something that our entire team, leadership team, is continuously kind of discussing and reflecting on. I have a couple of specific remarks. First is, I think this whole pandemic has, I think, cascaded us upwards into another level of an equilibrium. So I don't think that we will ever go. I think now we have embraced online. Ended model. This is there to stay, and our institutions and as educators have to find that equilibrium where we are able to offer online to those who want it. We are able to offer physical learning opportunities to those who want it. That is number one, and I think it will take maybe a few months for this equilibrium to reach. I don't know, maybe to take a little longer, that is up in the air, but I think we will reach this equilibrium. That is my first remark. My second remark is absolutely true. I always say this in every webinar, education is not about transferring information. It is about building character. And all the points that you mentioned, without having to repeat, that is what shaped the character of a young mind through the process of education. So I think that responsibility will continue to stay on us as educators. And even for those students who we think that only online may be an option, we will have to find ways of how, because one thing for sure is not sustainable, Hemant, that a person can just sit in their home for 5 years and learn a topic or learn a particular stream of education. I don't foresee that happening. And the third point, I think, all of us must have given so many speeches on, making future ready students and the future of work. Well, the future has come to us today. It is, what we might have thought might happen in 2030 is happening today for us. So there is a certain acceleration of experience. There is a certain acceleration of the learning curve. And I think to build what are continuously emphasized as the right brain skills, because AI, machine learning, robotics, all of that can provide the efficiencies, can provide the economies, can provide the inventions, but the aspects of empathy, the aspect of connectedness, that space of sensitivity, critical thinking, creativity, all of those will not happen, at least as of now. Who knows, tomorrow we might have a robot who can feel and respond. That is also, who knows, it might happen sooner than later. But those aspects will continue to stay. And I was delighted to hear Dr. Gupta, because wahi hai, ek to teacher hai, there is a teacher who is transferring information or classes, and then there is a guru who is actually shaping a life. So all of us are also having that responsibility to not just be a teacher, but to be a guru in the life of our student. So these couple of things, I think, will be there. Maybe when we have another webinar, Hemant, in December, we might be discussing that, in May we had thought about this, but dekho abhi December mein ye ho gaya. So it will be a bit of, I think, back and front, and we will also learn, we will evolve. I think this is what I see. I, for one, really am missing the students, that energy, that that enthusiasm, that those smiles, that joy, the wave, that is missing. We are writing so many emails to our students and putting on Instagram and everywhere that hey, we are missing you, which is true, which is true. So I hope that sooner than later we reach that good equilibrium, and for the benefit of all of us, win-win.
Thank you so much. I think you spoke the heart, from your heart, and that's what in fact everybody is feeling. Not only in academic environments, even in companies, like we feel like that. We want to be together. We want to, have a coffee or a lunch together. We want to talk about ourselves. So absolutely, I think that blending. That's why blended learning is the way, online and offline combination. So with that, requesting, Dr. Kunwar Shekhar Vijendra ji. That if you see that humans are not machines, right? We are entities which exist for, by, and because of relationships. And largely there has been a lot of question around that online education, or almost all the online collaboration, a lot of time becomes very, very transactional in nature. That we are just transacting on specific things. So I would request you to share specific thoughts, because Shobhit University has very successfully implemented blended learning, has implemented digital examinations. What has been your experience of bringing the different kinds of teachers, students, administrators, and outside stakeholders together, and making sure that relationships stay, or rather grow further, and it doesn't become just a transactional relationship?
Actually, I would like to start with transfer of information is not education only. I always speak about 3H: head, heart, and hand. Actually, we are empowering the head only. Somewhere heart and hand we are not many times when blended education and all these things are happening. When I come to your question, generally what happening, when there is a crisis, more you need student curiosity is there. And where's our curiosity there to fight with it? Compassion came, commitment came, collaboration. And once you are calm, then relationship starts. Then you are able to do anything. Examination had to happen. Everybody was having anxiety initially. How it will happen, how we will do, what will happen. We never did it. But surprisingly, it was attendance was more like then and paper examination. Now the only thing is that what Dr. Rajita was mentioning, that synergy is missed, because this empowerment may be happening is there, but emotional, spiritual empowerment has happened. And the biggest thing, what is there, Professor Mahesh was talking about Bloom's taxonomy. How's the look we were working at the result of the institute? Remembering now in this crisis, you helped us a lot. So thank you for that.
Kind of you. Very kind of you, sir. I see, Ravi has already come to tell me that we are running out of time. So last question to Dr. Pankaj ji, that I think there are a lot of questions around, is online learning effective? Will we be able to check the learning outcomes with the online examinations? And, how will we justify the infrastructure, and so many questions. And I think online ways of teaching and assessments will become more effective if we become more conscious as learners, as well as teachers, as well as the administrators. So I would request your final thoughts on, how can we stay more conscious while we are talking to and not to each other in person? How do we keep that consciousness?
I think it is a very difficult question you are asking, but after the great inputs given by Rajita ji, then Kunwar, Shekhar, Vijendra Sahab, and he already said the compassion and calm. These are very journey where you are living mindfully. To me, it should not have done this way. My way of learning was better when I used to carry my notes of 20 years old. That was the thing. One is that understanding the reality and then taking action in now. So, if thing is there, all the other things will follow. Let me share with you that in my university, we have already taken a decision that we found that the faculty meetings we are going to continue. If now the university we have been allowed to carry on with 33% people can come there, and now the next week it will be 50% people can come. So we have told faculty not to come, but the administrators have started coming. So whether it is a faculty meeting or open houses of the students we conduct online, we are going to conduct it that way. Research meetings we are converting to online now because we found it is more effective. Because whatever you discuss also get recorded. It is very good, minutes are there, follow-up is there. They get embedded in the team software. So there is nobody can say, oh, I was not part of this meeting and so on. Then work from home, we are going to revise the guidelines. We are going to have our board meeting on 15. I'm going to put up this proposal that, rather than spending the mechanical spending of time, we should be measuring the real, like what you were saying, the efficiency versus effectiveness. To focusing more on the effectiveness side, then also motivating the faculty. Then look at, the Khan Academy, look at, my friend Laurie Santos, she runs a course in Yale. That is a science of well-being. Having millions of subscribers and also, why don't we also create that? And what our great Guru Mashelkar Sahib used to say, that you should know how to convert your Saraswati ji into Lakshmi ji. So giving people the gyan, ki are tum ye karo, wo karo, uski jagah giving them a better idea that how it is in your own interest. And students also focusing towards that good future will anyway be created if we as a leader are living mindfully in now. And I believe it is the idea whose time has come. We have to adopt it happily and go with this. That is what is my view.
Thank you so much.
And also thank you so much for all your support. Your CollPoll is doing so well, and so is, the something many events together. I think Ravi is organizing a big event tomorrow with the Rajasthan government. So my best wishes in advance to you and him.
Thank you so much. And, thank you to all the panelists. And before I hand over back to Ravi, I'm reminded of, I'm sure all of us have watched the movie Gladiator, and which was a beautiful movie. And there were lines, when Maximus is actually going out to fight for the first time, there are very important lines which he says to everybody who's along with him. And Maximus says that, what comes out of these gates, we got a better chance of survival if we work together. Do you understand? If we stay together, we survive. So I think the whole gist of this is that we need to all stay together, continue building relationships, continue trusting each other, taking that leap of faith on each other, whether it is technology providers like us or the consumers, which are the students, or the providers of education and administrators like all of you. So thank you so much for your time. And it was a pleasure listening to all of you. Raviji, over to you.
I have to thank all the panelists. Wonderful session, so much knowledge, so many ideas. And in fact, I was thinking we should go on and on, right? It was such an interesting discussion. So I am requesting all the audience that we will be bothering you again soon, sometime in a month. And in fact, we will have an update that what's going on in digital, what all has evolved, because we all are evolving with the speed of a rocket now in the digital space now. So thank you so much all the speakers, and thank you all the audience, amazing audience. We had more than 400 people who had logged in, and I think more than 1,000 have been watching us on Facebook. So I request all the audience that if you have liked this wonderful session, and if you think someone else can benefit from all this knowledge, please share this video so that there is more learning and more knowledge all around us. Thank you, Hemant. Thank you, Dr. Pankaj. Thank you, Kunwar Shekhar Virenchi. Thank you, Professor Navin Sheth, Dr. S.S. Mantha ji, Rajita Kulkarni ji, and Dr. Mahesh for joining us for an amazing session. Thank you.
Thank you, Ravi ji.
Thank you.